Hello, it's Blake Rudis here with Everyday HDR and HDRinsider.com, and today I want to talk to you about a really cool program called Topaz ReStyle. So with Topaz ReStyle, what you can do is you can create really compelling images through the use of toning, or sometimes referred to as maybe even like a cross-process effect. So if we go to Filter and we go to Topaz Labs, I'll just give you a quick rundown on what ReStyle is. So in ReStyle here, you see that there are tons of different tonal presets here that we can go ahead and use to modify our photo. You have all these presets on the left, and on the right you have some ways that you can control them. And this is a really powerful way to edit your photographs to create more compelling photos. And I do this a lot in my photography, but what I do is I usually use the inverse of that image. And the reason why I do that is because I want to get the complementary colors for the photo that I have in order to increase the punch or the boost, to boost it up a little bit, to make it more powerful. And this is a painting technique that I learned way back in the day, that if you add the complement of a color together, you get a more potent version of that color. Just a little bit, you can really boost that color. Or if you use certain colors next to each other and their complements next to each other, you can create a more compelling painting that way. So you can do the same thing with photography here. So the way I start this process is I just go ahead and press Command or Control J. That's going to duplicate my layer. I'm going to press Control U, and that's going to bring up the hue saturation. I'm going to bring the saturation all the way up to 100. Now I wouldn't suggest you do this. There's two things I wouldn't suggest you do on a photograph. One is to use a destructive hue saturation layer like I just did, and two is to saturate your image like this. The only reason why I did that was because this is going to serve a purpose for me. So I'm going to go to Filter, I'm going to go to Filter Gallery and go to Cutout. Now what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to break down my image into only a couple different colors, so that when I bring this into ReStyle and it goes to select a color palette for me, it's going to select it from only a handful of colors instead of an entire smorgasbord of colors like you would see on a regular photo. So I'm going to leave the levels at 4, the edge simplicity at 10, and the edge fidelity at 1, and press OK. So now what I'm going to do is press Command or Control I, because that's going to give me the complements of all the colors in that photograph. So let me just go ahead and press Control N. I'll open up a new document, press Shift F5, and fill it with red. Now, in order for me to show you this complementary color rule here, red's complement on the digital color wheel is cyan. So if I want to get cyan without selecting cyan, I can press Command or Control I, and that's going to invert my red and make it cyan. If I press Command or Control I again, it'll give me my red back. So those are complements of each other. So when we invert them, we're getting the inverse relationship of that color, which would then be red. So with this image, I took the inverse of this purple and it gave me a lot of greens. So now when I go to Filter and go to Topaz Labs and go to ReStyle, I can create a preset specifically for this photograph. So if I press Reset on this to make sure that all my settings are cleared, always press Reset before you do this. Press the plus button, and we can call this Demo 1, and I'm going to save it in the Demo folder and press OK. So now when I go into the demo folder, I have a demo 1 here. I did an all caps version, and I have another version here. So if I were to click on that on my photograph, it would give me that color. Let me go ahead and press cancel here. So now I can delete that layer, that inverted layer, because I no longer need it. I can go to Filter, Topaz Labs, and go back to ReStyle and use that specific preset on this photograph. I can click that demo preset, and now I have that preset and use it on my photograph. Now it is a predominantly green photo now, so if we drop the opacity on here to something like maybe 50%, now we can go into the different hues of these colors. So if the primary color here is a little too much, I can drop that to start bringing back some of the color that's underneath it, and do the same thing with the secondary. Maybe drop that a little bit. And then in the third color, I want to get some of the red in the wings back, so I'll drop that. Fourth color, I can do the same thing. I don't see a whole lot going on there. Fifth color, same thing. If I want to drop the saturation in some of these colors, I can do that too. So that all I'm really doing here is boosting the colors in the photo to begin with, without overpowering it with the tint that I added to it. Now another powerful trick here is to change this to soft light. After you've got all that set up, you can change it to soft light, and you can see that a lot of those colors boost. Look at how they just kind of pop off the page. It pushes some colors back that need to be pushed back and pulls other colors forward that need to be pulled forward. And this is the power of ReStyle, the hidden power of ReStyle that maybe you haven't quite used yet. If you own this program, if you don't, this actually makes it very powerful. So I'm going to press OK on this one, and what I want to show you is that I've already created an action for you for this. So if you own Topaz ReStyle, what you can do is, let's just go back to the beginning of this layer. You can click on this action that I've made here. It's called Preset Prep, and just press play. And that will automatically set you up with that inverted layer. So now all you have to do is go into ReStyle, create the preset from it like we did before, and then use that preset on your photograph. So I'll run that through that one more time with you. So if we go to Filter, we go to Topaz Labs, we go to ReStyle. The beautiful thing about this is that this action opens it up on a new document, so you don't have to worry about deleting anything when you're done. You can just press Reset on this, go ahead and press the plus sign. We'll call this Demo 2. Save it in the demo folder. You have to have a folder. I'm calling it demo because I'm doing a demonstration right now, but if you were going to do this and say your name was Sarah, you can click on a new collection and title it Sarah, and then put that in Sarah's folder. Okay, so you have to put that into a collection. I don't suggest you put it in any of these other collections here because there's already a lot of presets in there, and you want to make sure that you segregate your presets into your own folder. So press OK, and it's going to go ahead and save that preset for us. And like I was saying before, we can go ahead and cancel out now. The beauty of this action is that we can just close this out now, go into this photograph, filter, go to our Topaz Labs, and go to ReStyle, and then click on that Demo 2 that we just created. And that's how we would go ahead and go about doing that all over again. So the download for this is going to be in the video down below. You can click in the description. You can download it there. It's also available on the website for the post that I did for this on everydayhdr.com, and it's also going to be available on the Topaz Labs website in their tutorial section where this is also going to be held. So there's plenty of places you can download this action. Again, my name is Blake Rudis with everydayhdr.com and hdrinsider.com, and this is how you can make more compelling photographs in Topaz ReStyle specifically from the photograph you're working on. If you like this, please go ahead and subscribe or share because there's probably another photographer in your community that might need this tutorial. Thank you.